thanks for doing this interview for Cash Tech News. Why don't you tell everybody your full name and where you're from?
Well, hello everyone. I am Alex Samar. Online, I'm known as Alex Copenhagen. I guess that's my alias. I'm from Copenhagen, and yeah, I'm a crypto trader, ex-professional poker player, and yeah, now I do trading for a living, and trying to build up a presence on social media. That's pretty much it. Yeah,
That's awesome. How long were you into poker?
So poker, I played. I started in 2004 professionally. No, 2006 professionally, and 2004 just as a hobby, and played for 10 years. And I quit, about 2 years ago. Tried to do some other stuff, looked into what to do, and then crypto went on to become went on a big bull run, didn't it? And then I started getting into trying to trade that. I didn't really know what I was doing in the beginning. So, I was doing the typical, selling the bottoms and buying the tops kind of trader. Not even a trader really, And finally thought, you know what, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I'm going to learn how to trade. And here we are today.
That's excellent. And you're in Thailand today, aren't you?
Right.
You end up in Thailand.
Well, it's actually a funny but long story, but I came here on holiday about 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I came here on holiday with a bunch of poker player friends, and my poker at the time was not going very, very well. If you're a poker player, it's normal that you sometimes in your career are going to go broke, or you're going to have downswings that last several months. And I was struggling at the time. And I was thinking, well, I was basically going broke while I was here on holiday with these high roller poker players. And then I thought, all right, what do I need to do? I'm really getting crushed here. And I decided to stay here. Instead of going back, I just stayed. I was really getting crushed at the tables. So I stayed. My girlfriend at the time, we were breaking up anyway, so she went back. And just took over my apartment. And then, I just stayed here and rebuilt here in Thailand, actually, and have been here since.
Wow. It's beautiful over there, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. It's great. Thailand is an amazing place. There's the weather is nice, and the women are beautiful. The people are friendly. The food is great. It's really, it's a great country. And there's actually a lot of freedom here. Despite it's not being a westernized society, there is a lot of freedom. You have a sense of freedom when you are here, when you live here.
It's great, especially if you're into crypto. You want a freer place to live, so to speak.
For sure. Mm-hmm. We can all agree that I think all of us who are into crypto, who are we want to make money, but we're also kind of in it for the tech as well. We believe in it, I think, right? At least I would say like over 90% of people believe in crypto who are in crypto. They're not only just trying to make money. And there's definitely that decentralization part that I hope that we can, that we can use in other use cases, such as, money in politics, or what else it could be. There's so many different ways we could use blockchain technology. So yeah, that'll be amazing the next decades, how that evolves.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
And you're doing this full time now?
Full time. I started, well, as I was saying, I was doing all the newbie mistakes, right? I had 100 Bitcoins actually in 2016, because I was playing poker and you could withdraw in Bitcoins. So I kept withdrawing in 2016 in Bitcoins. It was easier, it was faster, and just kept them. And then I would have a portfolio, but I just kept, every time we were crashing, I kept making all these mistakes. And then I kind of got into trading around November, I would say. And around November, I got into trading, really started to study a little bit more, and I got in the whale pool, TeamSpeak. So I was talking to, because none of my friends were traders, right? They were all poker players, and they weren't really interested in trading, and they didn't even know if they didn't believe the TA even works, which is ironic when you're a poker player professionally. And so I started trading, but at this point, I wasn't around surrounded by very good people, very good traders. It was all kind of noobs trying to teach each other. So, it took a while to get a little bit better and better. And I got, wrecked on February 6th, obviously. I had I was long massively with a big amount, and my liquidation price was 6,300. So that morning when I was going down, I was like trying to transfer some crypto to my account that was free, and got the liquidation price down to 6.3. I was like, okay, 6.3, I should be good, And then you watch in horror, it's going down. I couldn't make any other withdrawals at the time. It wasn't fast enough. And I got liquidated for like 90% of my capital, and I was just like, I was so depressed, and I was just like, holy shit, this is crazy, But then that day I decided that I was just going to really study and make that 100 Bitcoin back, that I wasn't going to just be like, okay, I'm just going to hodl from now on. No way at all. I was going to learn how to trade properly. And at that time I had been studying, but this time I really put in the work. And yeah, a couple of months later, I started to make some of that money back, and it's going to be an ongoing journey, but it'll be interesting. Maybe I'll do like a goal, blog or something, like how they do on Twitch, like road to 100 Bitcoin or something. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I like it. So if you were to compare crypto to poker, you have your ups, you have your downs. Is there a parallel between the two? Something that you like?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yes, for sure. I mean, in poker, a lot of times you're going to be making a lot of right decisions, but the result might not work out, right? Like you're going to be in with aces, and aces all in pre-flop against any other random two cards is only going to win 80% of the time. So in the same way, there's this variance, which is why, profitable traders, they're not right all the time. They get their trades wrong, all the time. Half the time would be pretty normal for a trader to get his trades wrong, and which is why we want to have a risk reward ratio of 2 to 1 or higher, right? Because then we can be wrong, but we are still profitable in the long run. So there's so many similarities, Dennis, and even skill set wise, you need. Like you learn when you're playing poker and you're winning and losing thousands of dollars every day, you have to get desensitized to that. And even then, when I went to trading, I wasn't super desensitized, because you're looking at something differently. You're not looking at cards, and you're not losing a hand, but you're looking at your P&L. It's how much in the red you are, and it'll affect you, and you still have to get used to that. But it's a very, very similar skill set, and it's very similar in emotionally, the things that you go through. The only difference is, I would say that these are markets that are future proof in some ways, right? Once you learn how to trade, you can trade any market, whereas poker you're limited by a lot of legislation, a lot of you're playing on someone's platform in the sense, and they can do a lot of stuff. In the poker industry, this happened as well. I mean, in the poker industry, once the poker boom started to subside a little bit, poker sites started to change their structures. So the regulars, the professionals, were making less and less money, and this happens in every industry really. But let's see how it goes in the crypto markets. It's still a young industry, crypto wise at least. So
I think so. And in terms of those poker skills, are there specific skills like maybe in poker? I mean, I'm not a poker player. I play a little for fun. That's
You've never played?
No, I play, but I don't play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With poker, you're reading people. You're looking at statistics on which hands win and which hands lose, and that sort of thing. How does that translate to, say, reading a chart or following the market? And are there other externalities that you find with crypto that maybe, poker, you don't necessarily have these outside factors?
Right, right, true. Yeah, for sure. You won't be using the same, like obviously there's going to be a lot more unknown factors and variables, right, in trading. And but the good thing, at least about technical analysis, is that there's this one school of thought that says you can read everything in the charts. You can see everything in the charts, and you don't need to look at the news. And that's something I enjoy. I am more a follower of that school of thought because I want to keep things at a minimalistic level. I can't be bothered, to have to check the news every day and what's going on and insider information and stuff like that. I prefer that model where I can just look at the charts and then I will play the charts as they are instead of having to do a lot of research. It's more gamey that way too, right? Like it's more like a game, like a poker game, when you're just using the things that you have there in front of you instead of doing maybe these tedious tasks like a lot of research or something like that, and trying to have to figure out the news and what's going on and get the news before well, they do say buy the rumor, sell the news. So I'm a believer of that, obviously, and a lot of fundamental analysis, the news does matter, but a lot of times you can see, like, every time there's some news things that come out, you're like, you can see it in the charts, most of the time, like the China ban. I don't remember. I guess when we had the China ban last year, I wasn't really into TA at all. So, but that was a big one, right? That really made the price go down for a while until we bounced. But yeah, I would say you just kind of deal with it, and then in that sense, if you just look at the charts only, then it's kind of like a poker game in that way for me.
Yeah. So you're looking at patterns and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Price action. I enjoy using price action analysis a lot more than like when you start learning TA. I think a lot of people go through this journey, right, where they start learning about the most basic stuff, candlesticks, RSI, MACD, trend lines, horizontal support and resistance levels. And then they kind of, at least this was my journey, and then you went on to learn a little bit about Ichimoku Cloud, and then you went on to learn about, other advanced indicators as well, like ADX or whatever others there are now. I've nearly forgot.
So
I hardly use any of them anymore. Like moving averages, obviously. And then, you kind of go full circle, and then you start to realize, like, you can use a little bit from everything. But it's, for me personally, I enjoy the price action analysis a lot more. It's more clean. There's less noise. And then I'll use a handful of indicators, selectively, only for confluence reasons. So that's how I have looked into it. And it's just so much more simpler too, because you get frustrated when you are using a certain system and it doesn't hold up. Like you're looking at Fibonacci ratios and you're like, okay, I'm gonna, and you look at that and you're like, okay, it's a golden ratio, I'm gonna go long here, and then it doesn't hold up. Then you go to the next one, okay, I'm gonna go long here, it doesn't hold up. And so price action, I feel like, is the easiest and most minimalistic way to look at the charts. Indicators are more there for confluence reasons, in my opinion. But to be honest, you see people making money with all kinds of different systems too. You see Elliott wave traders who are making money. You see people who are using Ichimoku who are making money. So, you can't hate too much on the different systems as well. At least that's what I've learned.
I agree. And I think that some systems just work better for certain personality types.
Sure.
You trade the market based on who you are. I know I certainly do. So using the systems that you use, do you find a difference when it's a bear market versus a bull market? And what are your thoughts on things today in terms of how the market affects how you do your trades?
Well, it's funny, when we were coming down before I got super wrecked earlier this year, I was just trying to long all the time. and I was just trying to long and long and long, and I was, and being so inexperienced. And now I'm like totally fine either way, whether it's long or short. I really don't care. I'm sure like at some kind of level you do kind of care. There's always a little bit of a bear in us, or a little bit of a bull in some of us. We're always a little bit biased, but in general, it doesn't really matter to me whether it's bear market or bull market. The only difference, I guess, is that there's a difference in how the price action evolves, right? When it comes to bull market, you can go rallying for a long time, and whereas usually bear markets, it's going to be like hard crashes, violent momentum down. So there is a difference in how the momentum is, but I'm glad that I started learning TA in the bear market, because last year, I know several people who are, traders, or, you could call them traders, I guess, but they just made a lot of money in the bull market. And because they never tried a bear market before, every time we had a big dip and we bounced, they're like, that was the bottom. That was the bottom. That was the bottom. For sure, that's the bottom, and it was never the bottom, and then I realized, wow, these guys made a lot of money, but, they didn't really get to go through a proper bear market where they could like see everything. And now there's so much, they've learned so much as well, so I'm kind of glad that I went through that at the time, so I could be prepared for, and the funny thing is, I've actually only really realistically traded in the bear market. So maybe when it's going to be the bull market, I won't be as efficient with my trades. I might be taking profits too soon, maybe, but hopefully I'll adapt very fast when I realize it is. It's going to be pretty easy to see in some ways, because if we bounce here and we go up, it's not necessarily going to be a bull market, but we might have a rally for a while, right? For a month or two, or, several weeks at the very least, I hope. So yeah, we'll have to see. But I would say, you just have to learn as a trader to trade both, on the way up and on the way down. And if you do that, and you try not to be biased, you can make a lot of money for sure.
For sure.
There's a lot of money to be made for sure. And especially in crypto, because in crypto, look how many newbies there are. There are so many new people in the crypto world. And I'm kind of scared for them in a lot of ways, So, yeah.
Do you have any predictions on where Bitcoin is going and other cryptocurrencies?
I think we're going to go down. I think we're going to go down because we're basically in a descending triangle. We keep testing this support, and we're not really going up and, having these massive rallies or anything like that. And we've been stuck under 6,800. So, I really think that we are going to, we're going to break the support. And actually I just made a video about this today, because if you took the inverse chart of Bitcoin and you inversed it, you see that it's actually an ascending triangle. It's higher lows, higher lows, higher lows on the inverse chart. And we keep testing the resistance on the inverse. So, if you saw that in inverse, you'd be like, it really opens your eyes, in a lot of ways. You should try doing it yourself, and I think you'll agree with me that it's just like, it looks like on the inverse that it's just gonna, at some point, just gonna shoot up. So I do think we are gonna go down. I am mostly bearish, but the good thing is that, you can be ready for any scenario as a trader. So if it doesn't happen and we don't even go down now, or let's say we bounce off support and we go back up and we break a former swing high, right? And we break a former important resistance like 6,800. Then you just, then you start longing from there instead. That's fine. So you can make a lot of money. I realize that for a lot of casual traders, these predictions can be quite valuable, because they just want to either go into dollar USD, or they want to go into spot and then wait for a while but I think even if you're a casual investor or a casual trader, in the sense that you have a full-time job, but you want to do a little bit of trading on the side, just do some swing trades and, dollar cost average down. If you have fiat right now, even though I think we're going to go down, there's nothing wrong with getting some now, buying some Bitcoin now, some Ethereum now for maybe 20, 25%, then see where the action is going. If it goes down, you buy some more around 185, 187, and then some more, then you go in for a heavy amount at around 150, I would say. And, still leave some after that, but dollar cost average down is fine. If it doesn't go down, if it goes upwards, it's fine. You buy now, and then when it's going up, you sell some at a peak. You sell 50%. Then at a dip, you buy in again for whatever amount, 30% of your capital. You can go either way.
Yeah. And are you sticking to Bitcoin and Ethereum, or are you also trying some of the other altcoins?
So I really prefer just to trade, the big ones, right? And especially the ones that you can short. I trade on BitMEX mainly. So, I'm playing around with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and, these are good enough in a lot of ways. I do sometimes miss out. Sometimes I'll get in some altcoins on Binance. So I definitely do trade altcoins, but I just prefer to keep it very simple. On Binance, you also, it's not as easy with the different orders you have to make. It's not as fluid, so you have to set up alerts and stuff like that. But yeah, Binance is fine as well, obviously. But
yeah,
I just prefer
is there something you like about BitMEX versus Binance?
Just the fact that you can do leveraged trading, and number one, also you can short, right? Whereas Binance, you can't short. So the margin trading is really the most important thing. I guess that's what I'm talking about. Long, short doesn't, it's all under margin trading, right? Yeah, that's really the main thing. I just wish it didn't get overloaded all the freaking time when there's a lot of price action going on. It's just ridiculous that they're like that. But Deribit, I heard, is pretty good for that. They don't get that, they don't have problems with a lot of transactions. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So newbies, if somebody wants to get into the market today, is there any advice you'd give them? Any pointers on how to start out, that kind of thing?
Well, I would say, first off, check my tutorial on my YouTube channel. No, what I would say is, actually I have a tutorial about how to get into trading as a beginner, and not about like what kind of strategies to use, but more about how to get started and how to find other traders who are successful or making money trading, and then look at their trades and learn from them, etc. But I would say in general, what you need to be doing is study, learn TA, go and study the basics first. Go on babypips.com, learn all the basic stuff, right? Then I would say, go into, choose one system that you want to master. Right? It could be Ichimoku or something like that. That's a really great one. It could be, there's many different strategies out there, and play around a little bit. That's okay. You don't have to stick to one only, but, play around a little bit, find a strategy that you like, and, and still look at other stuff as well on the side, but, find one that you like, and then go with that one. But then at the same time, find traders on Twitter, TradingView. I would recommend Twitter and TradingView, and find some good ones there who seem to be successful, and who you can copy their trades and see what they're thinking. A lot of people on Twitter, crypto traders on Twitter, are quite generous with knowledge, and they're always posting charts and adding a lot of value to the community, right? And be wary of paid groups, I would say. You don't really need them. I mean, you get a lot of information on Twitter. You don't need paid groups, right? And start out with a little bit of paper trading or testnet trading, just to get into it, so you're not making some massive mistakes. And then once you've made some trades, paper trading, get into trading with money, but just a small amount at a time, because there's no substitute. There's no substitute for trading with real money. You get the emotional response when you're down, when you're underwater, and you get the the rush when you're making money, the happiness when you're making money, and you need to practice that so you can get more and more desensitized to losing money. So it's extremely important that you do start trading with money. Don't paper trade forever, but just paper trade to learn how to use the interface, and just paper trade just to, so you don't make some kind of fat finger click mistake where you end up, losing a lot of money because you market bought or you did something else and you didn't know what you were doing. So yeah, those are the things I think you should do, and just find some mentors. If you can't find mentors, find other people who are willing to learn, and then learn together. Don't try and go at it alone as much, but yeah. And YouTube, I would say on YouTube, there's also people who do TA on YouTube, but they're not. A lot of them are content marketers. They're not really professional traders. Sorry?
They're in it for the clicks.
Yeah, and they're selling stuff, right? They're doing some Patreon or whatever. You want to find real traders. Not that I'm saying that people who teach stuff or do TA, they can't teach you. They can still teach you, but I think learning from real traders is 90% of the time better. There are some people who are educators who are going to teach you a lot who are not traders, and that's fair enough because trading with money is a lot different. Look at Tone Bays, for example. He's a great example of this, right? Great entrepreneur, but he makes one trade on Bitcoin. He made one trade this year, and he shorted 6150. And he was bearish all year, by the way, about Bitcoin. Like, surprisingly, I was like, wow, this guy's bearish. He's bearish all year and didn't even make one short trade. So this is an example of someone who could be a good educator, but they're not a real trader. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to be good at teaching you, but I would still prefer to learn from someone who's an actual trader, if at least they can teach you. If they're stuck at being a teacher, if they're not a good teacher, then obviously, go to someone else. But yeah, that would be the way to do it, I think.
Alex, this is very insightful. So you mentioned Twitter. How do people find you on Twitter and YouTube and wherever else?
So on Twitter, my name is Alex Poker. It's a very old account. All in one, Alex Poker. But on YouTube, my name is Alex Copenhagen. That's my channel name. And definitely go check that out because I do videos all the time. And it's a new channel, actually. I just started to do it because I got so sick of people putting YouTube videos out there that were just, not very good. And there are so many newbies in the space. That's the thing that is worrisome. There's so many newbies in the space, and they're just, it's like lambs to the slaughter. They're just losing a lot of money. And I think you can educate a lot of people still, and there's a lot of scams out there too. So, I really feel like that's why we need some kind of regulation as well, but it's difficult, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we'll have to have that conversation another time. I might be on the opposite side of you on that one. But,
right. I know what you mean, yeah.
But no, that's okay. That's okay. I really enjoyed this. Is there anything else that you want to tell the viewers?
Anything else? I can't really think of anything. I mean, just work hard. If you want to be a trader, you have to really understand that it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears if you want to be a trader. But that doesn't mean that you cannot trade on the side. You just have to really educate yourself, and the trades that you will be taking will be longer term trades. So you're not thinking about, you can't be staring at the charts all day. There's nothing wrong if you do want to do that. If you want to stare at the charts all day and take trading seriously, then you can do that. But it will take a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, and really, really good risk management to become successful in that. So good luck out there.
Good stuff. So Alex Poker on Twitter, Alex Copenhagen on YouTube.
Right.
I really enjoyed this. I'm sure we'll talk again. And thank you so much for this interview.
Thanks so much, Dennis. So I'll talk to you soon. We'll chat again.
Absolutely. Excellent.